The Five Eyes International Intelligence Network has issued a chilling warning about the threat of young people being radicalised online, with fears Aussie kids as young as 12 are at risk of turning into terrorists.
I think it's a pretty clear call to action.
Australia on notice. ASIO and intelligence allies from the UK, Canada, the US and New Zealand warning of an unprecedented rise in young people being radicalised by extremist material online. Since 2020, Australian counter-terrorism agencies have investigated 35 people aged 17 or under, the youngest just 12 years old.
Religious extremist groups are still using platforms to share their material and to recruit, but we're also recognising the rise in far-right extremist groups, and we're seeing definitely incel groups.
Security agencies today warning the numbers are sobering.
In every one of the terrorist attacks, disruptions and suspected terrorist incidents in Australia this year, the alleged perpetrator was a young person.
Teens radicalised through online platforms like TikTok, Discord, Telegram and even games like Roblox.
Young people who are isolated from communities, who potentially don't really have very good social networks, they are particularly vulnerable to the messages that extremists are sending online.
With 20% of their priority counter-terrorism cases involving young people, ASIO and AFP have released previously secret case details to ram home just how serious a threat we're facing. One 16-year-old posting online about live streaming a shooting on Facebook, requesting assistance in bomb making and suggesting the targeting of high-profile enemies. Meanwhile, a 14-year-old discussed their plans for a school shooting and even claimed they had access to firearms and explosives.
We absolutely need to do something. We have too many young people in this country who have been involved in terrorist acts or convicted for terrorist offences. The time to act is now.
Intelligence agencies recommending a whole-of-society approach to keep us safe, with parents, teachers and even healthcare workers warned to be on the lookout for signs of extremism.
The biggest indicator is change. So a change in the social group and their attitudes, a change in the way they dress. The problem is that a lot of these behaviours are quite normal adolescent behaviours, so it really is up to us as adults to be asking our children and young people what's going on for them.
But with even hardened spy agencies unable to contain the problem, is it fair to put the responsibility of de-radicalisation on the shoulders of parents and teachers?
Joining us now is the National Children's Commissioner, Anne Hollands. Anne, thanks so much for coming on. I'm trying to work out if 35 teenagers over 4 years being investigated is a lot or not. How serious do you think this is?
Well, I think what they're saying is that the numbers are increasing and that's a new development. And you know, this is a serious issue because these are kids who are being targeted by adults who are terrorists and criminals online. And these are kids who really need help.
It must be terrifying for parents. Parents are being told to look out for the signs. What are the signs they should look out for?
Obviously, if they've got extremist ideas and you're picking up some of those signs, then really it's very serious and that you should be getting professional help. But, you know, these are kids who have a lot of complex problems, like they have disabilities, learning problems, mental health issues. They themselves are victims of bullying and violence often, and they don't really feel that they belong at school. And so what I think parents should really be doing is trying to pick up problems much earlier, talking to the school, getting professional help if they can see that their kids are not really well connected to school and not well connected to their friends and they're not thriving. Unfortunately, we have these problems because our service systems that are meant to help kids who have complex needs and their families are really inadequate. They're not fit for purpose. So like health and education systems are often mid-last century. They're not really doing their job today.
A lot of times, Anne, when we see kids struggling, social media seems to go hand in hand with that, right? So at the moment in the news is the government social media ban. Do you think in any way that could have an effect, be it positive or negative with this?
It might help in some ways, but I think they're excluding sites like gaming sites. And I understand that that's one of the ways that these kids are being targeted by adult criminals is via gaming sites. So, you know, there's an awful lot of work to do to make sure those online protections are in place for our kids.
And for the kids themselves who might find themselves going down this path and think, how on earth do I get off it? Do you have any advice for them?
Call out for help. You know, talk to a teacher, talk to an adult that you trust. Don't worry about getting in trouble. You just tell them you need help.
And I guess the point is that we all want to belong, right? Kids just want to belong to something, and so it isn't just parents, it isn't just the school, it's everywhere. It's a holistic thing for like the whole of society.
Absolutely it is. You know, I had a report tabled in Parliament this year called Help Way Earlier, and this is what the kids and families and actually victims of crime said to me, that these kids need help way earlier, and one of the issues is they want to feel they belong. We're blocking kids from some of the activities that they really need, and many of them are turning to engaging online to find that sense of belonging. We can do better for them, I think, in Australia.
And thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks.